Hey there, you're listening to Your Life is Awesome, brought to you by Enjoy Toys, featuring true life stories about sex told by audience members at Smut Slams around the world. Smut Slam is a growing network of dirty storytelling shows founded in 2011 by me, Cameron Moore. We do our best to keep Smut Slam safe, but safe doesn't mean G-rated. Some of these stories are explicit as fuck. If you're not into that, now is a good time to get out. Otherwise, enjoy the show.
Your life is awesome! Your life is awesome!
Hey there, and welcome to Your Life is Awesome, a podcast featuring stories from Smut Slam, sex-positive community storytelling that happens all over the world. My name is Cameron Moore, my pronouns are she, her, and I am so happy to have you listening in today. If you've already been here before, welcome back. You know what's what, and you know what's about to happen. Pure, unadulterated magic. If you've never tuned into Your Life is Awesome before, if you've never been to a Smut Slam before, whoa, you are in for a treat. I am so happy for you that you get to experience this for the first time. Now, anyone who knows what happens at Smut Slam, basically audience members get up to tell their own stories. Everyone always has this moment where they're like, how the hell does that happen? All right. And I always have to say, I don't fucking know. I get venue managers asking me, like, so seriously, like, what's going to happen? Who's telling stories? And I have to tell them, I don't know. It's sheer brute force of personality combined with bravado on their part and maybe a beer or something. People get psyched. They get invited at the front of the house, at the box office. Do you want to tell a story? And enough people put their names in, and we get wild magic every damn time. That is true indeed for this particular episode you're about to listen to. It was recorded in Cardiff in July 2024 after like an 8-month absence. I was so ready to be back amongst my Welsh people. The theme was Splish Splash. So of course, I don't know what I was thinking when I came up with that theme. I guess I was thinking, oh, it's going to be, love in a lagoon or lots of rivers. Or it was just a lot of squirt, lots of squirting stories. But not just that. We also have some sweat and some splashy first bumlove adventures. I'm not going to get into it more than that. You're about to hear the results. Yes, baby, it's going to get wet. Of course, in between these really slappy stories, we've got fuck buckets, which are the anonymous questions and confessions that we get from the audience members. Those range from wildly woe to lots of educational stuff too. So do listen in to the whole dang thing. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, get your life jacket on. I'll see you on the other side.
I had a bad date with a guy at Barry Island. Yeah. Oh. Is that like a place for bad dates? Everyone's like, yeah. Geographically, it's a doomed location. Okay, all right. Barry Island. Then I went to a mate's wedding and was violently ill after having a vegan pig in a blanket. The guy serving the canapes was the guy from the date. Did he poison me? Yes. Curse him. Oh my God. That's great. Oh. See, now, I think that vegans and vegetarians can get really smug about like, I'm never going to get sick from what's eating. I can just leave this shit out. I can leave it out for 2 days or 3 days. No, man. Food poisoning will get you whatever you eat. Yeah. Oh, sad voices from the audience. Yeah. Oh. When I was working in a brothel, I had a client ask for me to dress as a vampire. The session we did, I acted it out, danced around a bit, hovered my hand over his pants, and he came. To which he said that hasn't happened since I was 17. Paid and left. 10 minutes for 200 pounds isn't bad. Get that cash. Fucking Also, no actual touch. Like, that's great. It's like Reiki sex, you know? Sex is so amazing, right? Human sexual behavior is just like, human brains, man. Okay, yeah. Ooh, okay. I like to masturbate to memories of real-life scenes I have been part of. However, even if it was really good, but was with someone I never want to see again, I can't do it because I'm afraid I'll manifest them back into my life. Sex magic, right? Woo! That's an interesting boundary, that is. That's very interesting.
Oh, this story's from many moons ago. So, long time ago, I was a escort back in London. And I had this one client message me, and I had a complete shit week. I had people pushing boundaries. I'd had people send me to terrible hotels. And this one was a really lovely one in the centre of London, down Mayfair. So I felt like top notch. I felt first class. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm living my best life. And so I arrive. And this guy's like a business guy. He flies from Hong Kong and all this shit like that. And he's like, okay, I want to do water sports. This is the Splish Splash bit. And I want you in this cat suit, and I want to be pegged. I was like, and I'm like this like little sub thing. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I arrived going, yeah, drinking like a litre bottle of water, and I don't have the best bladder as it is. So I'm just like, hi. And so he gives me this suit, and I'm like, okay, cool. And my stomach's like out here because I'm already full of water. And he's like, okay. So he starts like narrowing away, and then he's like, okay, I want to be pegged. I'm like, okay, like getting this new strap out. And I'm like, okay, this is all cool. Yeah. And then eventually the fucker didn't want it. And I was like, I need the toilet. And he's like, okay, but I need to go now, like, because I got like a flight in like 5 a.m. Like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, you can keep the cat suit. I'm like, great, but this is like, what you want to understand about latex cat suits is that they're like right on you until you take it off. So the amount of times I work with people and this like, you know, puddle of sweat on the floor. So I'm now on the tube, like, oh no, like, oh my god. No. And then I get home. I go to the bathroom. I like run to the bathroom. I run to the shower, and I just take off the suit. But it's like, obviously you're struggling, because the struggle's almost always worse when you're next to the toilet. And I'm just like pulling it off, and this little puddle of pee comes out, and I was like, I was sitting on that on the tube. And then I had a pee, and it was the best thing ever. But but at least I got tipped.
I cannot even imagine. Sadly, I can totally imagine. Jesus. Catsuits, yeah. They want the look, right? And then it's like, there's logistics involved in this, people. There's logistics. Oh, boy. My husband, yeah, already, we can start with the booing. My husband left me for a woman he met on a swingers website where he had us posted as a fun couple. Like, yeah, someone is all about the novelty and the novelty and the new relationship stuff, and they're going to be clearly bopping around to somebody else soon enough. So let that be some slight consolation to you. That's not going to last either. This is definitely not humble brag. I got railed by 6 guys, one after the other last night. I'd do it again today if I could. Now, I love it. I love it. Now, and I want to emphasize, like, numbers and quantities, that's really not important, but also there's such joy in the handwriting of that fuck bucket that I wanted to reflect that back out to you, whoever you are. I'm not looking at you. I am looking at you. I don't know. Oh, amazing. Amazing.
So, remember like 4 years ago when we all had to find a hobby really quickly? And like people took up sourdough and knitting, and I already knew how to knit. And I'm not suited to baking. So I decided to learn to squirt. And I'm not gonna lie, it took my, I had to put in the hours because carpal tunnel is a risk. We gotta be health and safety, right? So it's not a great story, right? There's not a lot to it because a lot of it is just me in my bed. Up to stuff. But yeah, there was a lot of frustration because I'd get almost and then tired, and that's distracting, and then you're distracted, and then you're thinking about, am I ruining my potentially great guitar career? I don't play guitar. So that's a vibe killer. So if anybody else wants to take up this hobby, here's my piece of advice, is that you need to get the right tools to get the job done. We're not trying to bring a screwdriver when a power drill is needed. So I got a glass dildo, and it's got a similar shape to that one, and like it's cold, ergonomic, great. And anyway, so I achieved my goal, and now the problem is, how do you stop?
If anybody is sitting there going like, when they said glass, and you're like, oh, no, there's like stuff that's like Pyrex. You can totally drop it off a 2-story building and bake a pie in it. I don't know. Anyway, there's stuff that is like definitely tempered and ready for that kind of abuse. And honestly, I would say that hard is a good place to start. Hard substances, you can do glass, stainless steel. I would say if you've got there's some wood that's been polished and finished well enough for it. You want something hard, so it's going to be very responsive to your movements, because oftentimes squirting involves some pressure, but small movements sometimes. But I agree, the problem is turning it off, right? Because now it's like I can feel it coming like, okay, puppy pads. Puppy pads are your friends. Puppy pads are your friends. Don't let anyone say you don't get education at Smut Slam. Puppy pads. It was the best. Okay, so there's a Free Your Stuff group in Cardiff, right? There's Free Your Stuff groups? Yeah. Free Cycle or whatever you call it. So we have a Free Your Stuff there in Berlin, and I've gotten a few good things off of it. One of the best things I've gotten off of it was a box of geriatric fucking incontinence pads. For free. That kept me squirting for several years. It was great. And now we're out, and we have to go and buy puppy pads from the pet store the way normal perverts do, and it's just... I feel like they can tell when you go into a pet store with perverted intent. Don't you think they can tell? You're giving off a little vibe like tee hee 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 hee. Oh no. I got an STI from one of my best friends, but his girlfriend was the one who got sick and found out. We can't tell what's going on there in terms of any cheating or not, so I'm not going to make assumptions. That sounds like a polycule that maybe needs to communicate better. Okay. I experienced squirting for the first time whilst on holiday this year. Not as good as an orgasm, but definitely wetter. Yeah. Like, okay, I don't know about you, but I love making a mess in hotel rooms, but I always worry that it's too much of a mess. And then I just tip like I'm way richer than I am because I feel so bad about it. It's not pee, but it doesn't matter because it's a fucking hotel room and they have seen pee. All right?
I went to a circus school in Bristol for a year, and I had to cross the Severn Bridge to get there. That's the only water thing involved in the story. And the Chinese State Circus came and put their tent up in the full-time circus car park, and it was 5 days, and you only had one go on the flying trapeze, and the night before it was my turn to do the flying trapeze. I had Up the Bum Love for the first time. And there was a definite feeling of what comes up must come down kind of thing. The same with the flying trapeze and the up the... And so the top half of me was, way! And the bottom half was, let's never do that again. And then I had to go do the flying trapeze. So I had the harness on, which I'm perfectly happy to have a harness on most of the time, and a winch, and it pulled my buttocks up and separately. So basically there was the people were watching around the ring, and I was worried that there was going to be some kind of, splurging thing on the people around. So, and don't... The morning after you do Up the Bum Love for the first time, don't do anything that makes your bottom half go like that. Because that increases the possibility of explosive. And straight people think, oh, is it cum up there? But it wasn't cum, it was all the other stuff. And... safe. And so he pulled me up the thing on the little sideways ladder, and I grabbed hold of the sort of sweat patches and on the thing, and I went and the centrifugal forces is going to push everything down and out. So I was worried about that, but as it turned out, nobody got covered in my shit. Hurrah!
Okay. When I was 18, I worked in a strip club, dancing around a pole, stripping. We know what goes on in a strip club. I guess you could do bar or the coat check. But dancing around the pole and stripping. One night, as I was dancing topless on the pole, my older brother walked in with a load of his friends. I didn't notice at first until I turned around. I was horrified. He was very pissed off. The pissed off part, I would be horrified too, honestly. You don't have to share everything with your family. And, but him being pissed off, whatever. I hope you worked it out. Okay.
So, as the theme tonight is Splish Splash, I thought I would tell the first and last time that I ever had sex on a beach. I was on a family holiday with my mum and my sister. My mum had gone home, and me and my sister were still out, partying and everything with this group of guys. And I met this guy, this Italian guy called Romeo. Can't make it up. I obviously lapped that up. And, we were kissing and everything, and he was like, do you want to go down to the cove with me? So I was like, okay, yeah, no worries. So went down to the beach with him. And we I thought it was going to be really romantic. I'm on my back, and I thought that it would be, great, whatever, we start having sex. And what I didn't think about is the fact that if you have sex on sand, it is quite literally sandpaper. So the sex was not really that memorable, to be honest with you. All I remember was the fact that I was getting pretty much third-degree burns on my back. Meanwhile, this is happening. I didn't know that my sister didn't realise that I had gone off with Romeo, and she thought that I was missing. So she went back to my hotel and reported me as a missing person to my mother. So as I got dressed and everything from the beach, I'm walking up from this cove in the dark, which don't advise, that is how you get murdered, by the way. Walking up from the cove, and out of a fog, I see my mother storming down the beach at me, dragging me by my ear up from this boat, scolding this Romeo. And I spent the rest of the holiday with third-degree burns on my back, being scolded by my mother.
Question, how can I learn to squirt? Any toy recommendations? Heart thanks. We gave them earlier. Any of the hard toys are going to give you a good spot on the inside. So glass, stainless steel, wood that's been appropriately polished and finished. I want to also say, what I have discovered is that if you're going for inside, you can get it with inside just penetration without that hardness, but I find that really fast stimulation, and then slow. Change it up. Go fast, and then slow. And on that slow stroke is when the person's going to go what the fuck? I offer no guarantees, but that is certainly a pattern that I see for myself and I've heard from other people. Yes. Yes. One more word of advice from the audience. Yes. Try it on your hands and knees.
On your back.
Not on your back. Try different positions.
Yeah.
Try different positions. I can do it in both positions. Yeah. Yay. Okay, one more. Squirt. I fucked a pastor on church property. You are all such heathens, okay. They continue. I'm now convinced I have a free ticket into heaven. If more people want to take that as potential reward for fucking around with religious figures, go for it. I too am a heathen.
Okay, so this is probably going to be a little bit underwhelming and probably slightly chaotic because I haven't got notes and I probably need them. But this is just what you're going to get. So I was in a committed relationship at the time, kind of at the stage where things were settled, and spending time with my boyfriend at the time, and he wanted to do the thing that's going to make me squirt. Although I prefer to call it gushing because it's not really going anywhere, it's just going down. It was all very consensual, but what I did not consent to was laying in the wet patch. So there was some discussion, and there was getting of towels, and there was folding it up in quite a few layers because it's quite a lot of mess. And popped it down.
Closer to the mic. Yes.
Sorry, I just can't stand still. So there was lots of folding of layers, big wedge of towel, and we did the thing. The thing occurred. There was mess, as you'd expect. This was after some backwards and forwards of, do we have to do you really need to do the thing? You know, there's going to be mess, and I don't want to sleep in the wet patch, back and forwards. Unfortunately, we had, in fact, missed the towel. So, cue everyone having to get up, strip the bloody bed. Well, if we're doing the sheep, got to do the rest of the bloody bedding. So, stupid o'clock at night, we're looking around for pillowcases because who organises their pillows and cases and sets? So that's how a fun evening turned into a household chore that we'd probably been putting off anyway. So, yeah.
It is true that if you make a mess, you generally end up cleaning it up, right? You get some stuff, say you're doing the dishes, you get some water on the floor, you end up wiping around there. It's better for the floor, good for the bed. I have so many squirt stains. Gushing is also one I use, but gushing feels like, it's just a little dramatic. Squirt feels cute, right? Squirt feels like, oh, I squirted. And gushing is like, wish you could play with that. You can play with that. When I was single, I would bring up guys quite often and dirty the couch. My cat also liked visitors. This one guy said to my cat, "Shush, child, I'm doing your mama." That was not hot at all. I once had sex that resulted in me squirting to the point that his phone had water damage. It was a very awkward trip to the phone repair store. Moral of the story, don't have your fucking phone on the bed. Yes. Your life is awesome. Oh my God. Should I do one more? Okay. And then we go on to the next one. Oh man, there's more. Now, if I don't read your story tonight, don't worry about it. It's still in the running. If I don't read your fuck bucket, it's still in the running for the prize. We can't get through all of them. I promise I will take them back and lay them out all over my bed at the hotel and roll around in them. So they're still doing stuff, don't worry about it. Exactly, it is awesome. My life did not feel awesome 3 hours ago. And you all are making me feel so much better about my life. Thank you. Is it okay that... usually I say yes automatically, right? Is it okay that I find my boyfriend sexiest when he looks like a Tory? What? Now you can literally rub it in his face. Yeah, I don't know. There's something to be said. There is something to be said for like, keep it down over in the back here. There's something to be said for 100% like going for things that are transgressive and things that are not like what you're used to. Don't keep an eye on what he does, not just how he dresses, but what he does. That's how you know. By his deeds shall you know him, quoting the Bible. Okay. It's all right. I'm an ex-Mormon. It doesn't count. Okay. Whoops. Okay. I never squirted before, so I don't know what it feels like, but I heard it feels like peeing, Last night, I touched myself beside my boyfriend while he was sleeping. We're at his place, and I felt the feeling. So for the first time, I thought, fuck it, let's do it. And wet the bed. And then I smelled the sheets, and it smells like pee. I peed myself. Should I tell him? If he didn't take the sheets off. Take the sheets off and change it for him, because that will smell. I don't know. Okay, round of applause. Should they tell him? Should they not tell them? We've got one strong faction here. We've got one strong faction there. We've got a bunch of people in the middle going, I don't know. Hopefully you know your boyfriend well enough to talk to him about it, but open communication is good.
I'm going to preface this by saying that I am ADHD and autistic. I know it's shocking, but it's important for the story. But I had a crush on a married couple, and it was a really big crush. You know, when you sort of like you daydream about you guys doing cute things together, like going for picnics or fisting each other and things like that. I guess what I'd call it is like a full body crush, if you know what I'm saying. And like you get to the point where you're just so horny that you think that it might actually be like a genuine health concern for yourself. But I asked them out, we started dating, and they were so loving and wonderful, and they decided to delay sex with me because they didn't want to be unicorn hunters. They wanted to get to know me first before sex and show me that they cared about me and my feelings, and all in all I found that to be incredibly mean-spirited and really, really unpleasant thing for me. But eventually the day came. I'd opened up emotionally, and now it was time to open up physically, which I found much more comfortable doing in that position. So we'll skip ahead, I'll set the scene. I'm naked, which is a strong start. Perched on my knees on their leather sofa. I'm back to front, my girlfriend is in front of me, my boyfriend is behind me, and the back of the sofa's here. My girlfriend is beautiful, and she's holding me, and we're kissing, and it's so wholesome. Her husband is fingering me behind me, it's equally as wholesome. You know when you've just been like craving something so much, and then all your fantasies are coming true at once, and it's really, really overwhelming. And then the toys start coming out, the vibe, the wand. I am coming so much. My eyes are rolling back, my hips are rocking. I'm doing it. I'm being fully vulnerable. My therapist, I think, would be proud. And then I briefly ponder the psychological ramifications of thinking about my therapist whilst repeatedly climaxing, but that's a story for another time. It gets so good that my brain kind of has a malfunction, and I'm like floating over my body. I'm suddenly really aware of everything around me, the rain hammering on the walls outside, the feel of my new girlfriend's skin. Gosh, that rain is really, really loud. That hot puddle of liquid that's touching my knees. What is that touching my knees? I suddenly aware that my girlfriend has moved away from me, and I'm thinking, where was she going? She was going to get a towel. And I had this realization. That isn't rain hammering down on the walls at all. That's my cum. Hitting the leather with such pristine reverberation, we could have genuinely been in a car wash. It was the noise it was making. I look down and it's everywhere, and it's not stopping. Towels start appearing, and I'm hearing the words, "It's okay, the sofa is leather, it will just wipe clean, don't worry about it." I think to myself the words amber weather warning, and I clench to hold back a laugh. This, in hindsight, did not help the situation. The husband behind me is having the time of his fucking life. Sir, I am not a cum bending machine. Okay, maybe I am. So at this point, the cum is all over my boyfriend. It's on the carpet. It's on a copy of the TV Times that was on the table nearby to me. There's now 4 towels around me, and also 4 hands, so I'm not complaining about that at all. It went on for ages. I think that there should be a health and safety warning on those vibe wands, because they should be like, caution can cause severe dehydration, When eventually our next date came along, and I was a bit sheepish about my pussy's previous fountain display, and I verbalised this to my loving partners, and this was their response. After you left, we were so turned on. And I said, oh, and what did you do about it? And they were like, well, we were turned on, but we were also intrigued, as we've never encountered an episode of that velocity before. So we stayed up all night Googling it. They then proceeded to lovingly info dump everything they'd learned about squirting to me, and I just kind of hoped the ground would swallow me up. But luckily, as they finished, I sort of turned away, and when I looked back at them, each of the fuckers was holding a wand in each hand and smiling at me and walking towards me. So that's my story.
Dehydration and property damage are the 2 top things to worry about with squirting. That is true. And I'm not sure with leather you can just wipe it off. Like suede, definitely not. Most leather you have to have it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Get concerned about it. Amazing. Yeah, when it makes noise, that's the part that's like, oh my God, I'm such a messy bitch, and it's great. There's a certain amount of pride, right? Just laying waste. Force of nature. I'm a weather pattern. I don't know what that means. A twist on Tia Maria. Is that a dessert? A drink. What is in it? Coffee liqueur. Coffee liqueur. Okay. A twist on Tia Maria. Last week, our American friends stayed. I wanted some Tia Maria, so the wife stripped off, sat on the kitchen counter, and I licked Tia Maria off her now wet bits. You are never going to get that on one of those stupid drink websites. I think they assume you can figure out how to serve it on a body. After watching Nick Broomfield's documentary Fetishes as a teenager, I've always wanted to use someone as a human ashtray, but I don't smoke, frowny face. What alternatives come to mind for you?
Vaping.
So I have never played with that. I'm assuming, right? I'm assuming that when you are using someone as a human ashtray, you're not stubbing it out on them unless you have consent for serious skin damaging play. Okay? That is a different thing. We're talking about tapping out ash above them. I'm kind of looking around to see if anyone's going, yeah, that's right. But this is my guess, all right? If you're not playing with actual damaging, which again, this is one of those things that if you want to go hardcore and you can find someone, great. But like we're talking about tapping ashes out over someone else. Okay, so by the time it's like wax play, right? By the time it gets to their skin, it's a tolerable thing. If it's not tolerable, you adjust it so the height that you're tapping from. Okay. Incense, yeah. What else? Shisha. But like you have to like dump it out. No, you can smoke it. You can just light it and roll it. Okay, shisha. Sorry. I'm sorry, if you're going to yell at me, you have to be clear. What?
Bring in a third person.
Bring in a third person and so you're the toppy top, and then you've got a service top working for you. Someone who smokes. Tap, tap, tap. Good call. Anybody else?
Eat a bag of crisps and then tip out the last few bits on them.
Eat a bag of crisps and then tip out the last few bits on them. I mean, I was thinking about, you could toast some lovely spices and grind that up and do it warm, but that's too much, it's too complicated. That's too complicated. Anyway, I think incense is probably the right one, or getting someone else to do that for you. Yeah, good call. I got too horny at work and got off in the toilets, but it was not satisfying enough, frowny face. I just can't imagine that it would be, but okay. Oh dear. As a young graduate, I spent a summer working in a very professional architectural firm. One assignment I was given was to design a very expensive bathroom/wet room for an Asian client. I spent the afternoon researching on the company internet various bathroom items for the design. Later that day, I was called into HR as they had received a warning from IT that someone had been browsing porn while at work. And it was from my computer. I had to explain that my Google search for golden showers was purely innocent, and I was just as shocked as they were when the search engine results came up. I don't know if I believe that, but okay. It's okay. You tell yourself that.
Ooh, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? Yes, take a moment now to catch a breath. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. If you want to know how we create a safer space at our shows, given that we're drawing from people from lots of different backgrounds and lots of different experiences, these are strangers to each other. How do we create a safer space? You can read our full code of conduct. That's at smutslam.com at Code of Conduct. So just go look at our menu there, Code of Conduct, and that'll tell you all about how we construct and maintain a safer space for all of our participants. So I want to give a special shout out for this show too. Of course, my co-producer there in Cardiff, Duncan, you're amazing. Also, the Wales Millennium Center. It looks so damn imposing when you walk up on this space. But then we go around to our little cabaret space on the side, and it's so amazing. We have such wonderful staff there, and our smutterlings, our volunteers are amazing in Cardiff as well. I'm so psyched. We are going to be coming back there in November. So put a pin in it, baby. That's November 22nd. You can mark that out here. If you want to hear more of these podcasts per month, we want your help because we have plenty of material, believe me, with all the traveling that I do and all the Smut Slam hosts working elsewhere in Europe and in North America. We've got so many stories that we want to share, but we need your help. You can join our Patreon and support us for a very low amount per month. And you get like early and extended episodes right there. So that's at patreon.com. Your life is awesome. So just look us up over there. I want to give a quick shout out for our calendar coming up here. You can always find that at our website, of course, but I like to put it in your ear personally. Okay. Now, this being summertime still, I want to say it's slightly less, but we still got shit going on. So write it down, baby. We have a Smut Slam coming in Boston on August 6th that is run by Victor Victrola. Victor Victrola is holding down the party on August 6th in Boston. August 13th, I will be hosting the slam in Copenhagen as part of the Alternative Pride celebrations at Rådhuset. I don't even want to spell that for you. I think I pronounced that right. The Danish man. Oh, boy. Anyway, that's Copenhagen, August 13th. Diva Darling is bringing Smut Slam back to Baltimore August 16th. That's a Friday. And that's always going to be the third Friday of the month there in Baltimore. And then I am putting it on in August again. So August 19th in Berlin, back at our garden location. All right. So just keep an eye out for those. Follow us on Instagram, on Facebook. Get involved, subscribe to our podcast stream here. You'll know all about it. We'd love to see you there at a live show. But if you can't do it, that's great. This is the way we stay in touch, right? And let your friends know too. Let your friends know all about it. This is how word of mouth spreads in these algorithm-driven days. All right. That's it for me this time. Thanks for joining me. And yeah, we'll see you next time. In the meantime, hey, it is summertime. Living is easy. Stay cool. And remember, your life is awesome.
This has been Your Life is Awesome, a story podcast from Smut Slam with Cameron Moore. Produced by me, Mark Seistedt. Music by Sticky Biscuits. A huge thank you to all storytellers featured. All stories are being shared with permission. Thanks also to Enjoy Toys, makers of deluxe stainless steel instruments of pleasure, for continually supporting Smut Slam. Find them at enjoytoys.com. If you want to help us make more of these, plus get access to longer episodes and other bonus material, please join our Patreon at patreon.com. Your life is awesome. If that's not in the cards right now, you can also help by rating and reviewing this show. Look for that option in your podcast app. We might read out some reviews on a future episode. Got a question for Cameron? Write or send a voice recording to smutslampodcast@gmail.com. This too might be featured on the podcast. And if you want to find out more about Smut Slam and the code of conduct we use in the shows, go to smutslam.com. All links mentioned can be found in the podcast info. Thanks for listening.